A NATO member has publicly questioned whether the alliance will survive. Taiwan's semiconductor industry is under direct economic threat. In Moscow, Putin is negotiating Ukraine's future, not with Kiev, but with Trump himself. The world order isn't shifting, it has already shifted. This is not speculation, it is not a slow, evolutionary transition. It is an abrupt realignment of global power taking shape in real time. The question is no longer whether Trump, Putin, and Xi are working together. It is whether their aligned interests, whether by design or by opportunism, are accelerating the collapse of the US-led global order faster than anyone expected. Trump's shift away from traditional US adversaries and toward asserting dominance over North America and Latin America is a stark departure from past foreign policy priorities. From threats to invade Mexico to discussions of annexing Greenland, Trump's rhetoric has pivoted away from global interventionism and toward hemispheric consolidation. His administration has signaled growing hostility toward Canada and Panama, raising questions about trade realignments and military posture. This is not just a shift in focus, it is the beginning of an American geopolitical withdrawal from the world. While Trump maintained communication with Putin while out of office, the geopolitical changes we are witnessing only took effect after his second inauguration a month ago. Russia, meanwhile, is making immediate strategic gains as a result of these shifts. Trump's refusal to commit to NATO's Article 5 has left European leaders scrambling to reassess their security dependencies. Direct U.S. negotiations with Putin without NATO allies present suggest a sidelining of the alliance that has defined Western security since World War II. At the same time, Trump has publicly questioned military aid to Ukraine, signaling a willingness to push Ukraine into negotiations on Russia's terms, further legitimizing Russia's territorial gains. These developments, combined with Trump's trade war with European allies, have positioned Russia to act more aggressively while the U.S. turns its attention elsewhere. Within weeks of Trump's return, Russia expanded its military operations in Ukraine with renewed confidence, testing NATO's limits in ways that seemed impossible just months ago. European allies, once reliant on unwavering U.S. support, now find themselves scrambling for alternative defense strategies. French President Emmanuel Macron has openly suggested that Europe must prepare for a post-NATO security structure, while Germany has quietly increased its defense spending in anticipation of reduced U.S. military support. If Trump continues to disengage, NATO may cease to function as a meaningful military alliance altogether. This shift resembles past geopolitical turning points. Just as Britain's failure in the 1956 Suez Crisis marked the end of its global empire, NATO's fragmentation under Trump may mark the end of U.S. hegemony. But even that parallel may understate the scale of the transition. If NATO unravels, it will not be the decline of a single empire. It will be the unraveling of an entire geopolitical order. At the same time, China has intensified its military posturing over Taiwan. Since Trump's inauguration, Beijing has dramatically escalated military drills, encirclement exercises, and economic pressure on Taipei. A forced reunification is no longer an abstract possibility, it is an active, short-term strategy. The timing of this escalation is no coincidence. It aligns directly with Trump's shift away from direct military deterrence in Asia. Instead of reinforcing Taiwan's defense, the U.S. has focused on economic leverage, particularly through threats of tariffs on Taiwan's semiconductor industry. Trump has threatened to impose tariffs ranging from 25% to 100% on Taiwan-made semiconductors, a move that would drastically reshape global supply chains. The intent is clear: to force Taiwan's semiconductor manufacturing company, TSMC, and other chip producers to relocate production to the U.S. This mirrors past rhetoric against China, framing Taiwan not just as a strategic ally but as an economic competitor. This is not just an economic dispute, it is an existential crisis for Taiwan. Its semiconductor industry is not just its economy, it is its security guarantee. The U.S. has long relied on Taiwan's technological dominance as a deterrent against a Chinese invasion. If that advantage is eroded, Taiwan's vulnerability grows exponentially. Taipei now faces a two-front challenge: a China emboldened by U.S. hesitation and an America treating it as an economic adversary rather than a military ally. Beijing sees an opportunity, and Taipei knows it is running out of options. Meanwhile, China's global influence continues to expand. The Belt and Road Initiative has strengthened Beijing's economic foothold across Africa, Latin America, and the Middle East, ensuring long-term strategic partnerships beyond just military alliances. Additionally, China is deepening security ties through the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, a bloc designed to counterbalance Western influence. The economic pressure campaign against Taiwan is not happening in isolation. This same approach, using corporate leverage rather than direct military action, has surfaced in another unexpected arena: TikTok. Among the carefully arranged seating at Trump's inauguration was TikTok CEO Shou Zi-Chew, placed next to Trump's nominee for Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard. In Washington, seating at high-profile events is never random. It reflects relationships, influence, and future intentions. Trump has already shifted from wanting to ban TikTok to proposing that the U.S. take a financial stake in it, a reversal that aligns with the interests of powerful political donors, including Jeff Yass, a major investor in TikTok's parent company ByteDance. This move raises serious national security concerns. Is TikTok being leveraged as a backchannel for U.S.-China relations under Trump? Trump's proposed U.S. sovereign wealth fund could lay the groundwork for the U.S. to acquire TikTok outright, keeping the platform in American hands while maintaining strong economic ties with China. ByteDance is currently valued at $300 billion, with TikTok alone worth between $50 and $100 billion. A government-backed acquisition of this scale would fundamentally reshape the global tech landscape and redefine how the U.S. exerts power, not through military alliances but through corporate dominance. The world order is no longer shifting. It has already shifted. The United States, Russia, and China have entered a new geopolitical reality, a tripolar world where no single superpower dictates global stability. The United States is abandoning its global policing role, focusing on hemispheric consolidation and using corporate leverage over military deterrence. Russia is taking advantage of U.S. disengagement to expand its military influence, particularly in Europe. China is accelerating its Taiwan strategy while expanding its global economic and security reach through the Belt and Road Initiative and the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. This is not speculation, it is pattern recognition. A pattern where U.S. aggression is redirected away from Russia and China and focused on securing dominance over the Western Hemisphere. A pattern where Russia benefits from U.S. disengagement, allowing it to avoid consequences and prepare for further conflict. A pattern where China grows emboldened toward Taiwan as the U.S. applies economic pressure rather than strengthening deterrence. Then there are the subtler signals. The inauguration seating of the TikTok CEO, Trump's sudden openness to TikTok negotiations, and economic policies that seem to align with China's strategic goals. Whether this is an unspoken geopolitical realignment or a convergence of independent strategic interests, the result is the same. The world order has already shifted. This isn't a theory, it isn't a distant possibility. The world won't wake up to this shift. It will realize too late that the rules have already changed, whether the alliance will survive. Please subscribe to the Intellectualist's new YouTube channel, where we present insightful videos analyzing the current events shaping the world. Turn on notifications to receive the latest updates from the channel.